And welcome, everybody. Good to see y'all. Welcome back. Special edition of Crypto After Dark. It's not even dark. This is the old school throwback stuff we used to do when we did 2 live streams a day for multiple years. I cut way back on that because of the bear market and people quit watching. So good to have you. We got special guest Colin from Presearch on here. Rarely does this happen where we have a big dog to talk to, which is pretty darn cool to me. So without further ado, how you doing, Colin? Well, listen, I appreciate people being on here. It just doesn't happen enough. Um, in my position, I'm just some dude on the internet, and I get to talk to some founder of a company like this. It's another level up for me. It used to make me nervous and stuff. For whatever reason, it doesn't anymore. I guess you realize we're all just people. At the same time, we all have big titles and big important things, and we all come up with really cool stuff like Presearch.
In as a formal CEO, and there's been kind of a whole bunch of behind the scenes stuff happening with Presearch Foundation and a new corporate entity and a whole bunch of other things that's pretty exciting. But yeah, at the core, it's a whole group of just regular people all over the world who want to see an alternative search engine that is not Google be built and operated.
So
Yeah.
people already said the audio didn't work right. So I went ahead and turned it up just now. You said the first part of that, you said Tim. That's the only part that didn't get picked up. Everything else after that. But the first part you said Tim. Who was that?
Oh, cool. Tim Enneking, who's the new Presearch CEO, and
Gotcha.
he's a longtime community member and one of our most active supporters. Really, kind of somebody who was really integral in the project actually blowing up in the 2017 heyday. Tim found out about Presearch very early on before we even did a public sale of the Presearch token. And he went on CNBC. He was being interviewed, and they were asking for his top 3 crypto picks. And he contacted me and said, "Hey, I love what Presearch is doing, and that you've got an actual real use case for the token, and we need change in search." And he said, "I'm going on CNBC. Are you okay if I talk about Presearch?" And so he went on, which was amazing. And then we had that video clip of him talking about Presearch, and then we put that out in all of our marketing, including on a banner that we had at the top of CoinMarketCap for a lot of the summer of 2017 with Tim's face on it. And so he's been kind of a pretty integral part of the project, an advisor as well. One of the larger token holders, largest node operators, keyword stakers. He's really kind of had his hands in the project pretty much as deep as they could be from a bit of an outside perspective, and realized a couple of months ago that it made more sense or it made sense for him to get more involved. And so we've kind of done a bit of a transition and really been ramping things up. It's been awesome.
How much easier is it for you since the transition?
It's been a pretty intense summer, honestly, just as far as, doing, kind of hand over knowledge transfer, all that kind of stuff. And it wasn't really just Tim that joined as well. He has a whole team with him. So we brought on multiple people from his side. And so, we've just been kind of like doing all these shifts and transitions and putting out the fires and doing all that really kind of critical transition stuff, and just really changing the focus of the project really to speed of execution is the main thing. Presearch has been around for a while, and it's been making some great kind of slow, steady progress. But one of the conversations that Tim and I had that led to the decision to take this bit of a different approach was that we all see that obviously there's been different points within the lifespan of Presearch and within crypto in general where it's like, man, is crypto going to make it? Is it here to stay? And it's it's inevitable at this point. There's just too many things. And so with it being inevitable that crypto is kind of the future of finance and of value really on the internet and the use of blockchain, uh, that it's pretty inevitable that there's going to be another bull run. And I think we're in kind of a weird, spot right now where it's feeling very kind of deflationary. Obviously, there's been a lot of money printing over the past 2-3 years, like an insane
Yep.
amount. And now that that's been tapered a bit, it's been feeling like, oh crap, like is it going to be deflationary? But ultimately, it can only be so deflationary. Otherwise, everything is going to not work. Those numbers just aren't going to work. And really, the way for them to kind of keep those plates spinning is to keep inflating, and it's been going on for 50 years now. And so I think at some point there's going to be another round of that, and that I think is probably going to coincide with another Bitcoin halving and more just general adoption, both within financial markets as well as within actual adoption of crypto from a usage standpoint. And so probably a lot of that's going to start happening, late next year, mid to late next year into 2025. And we just can't, stand kind of on the sidelines. Presearch needs to be a huge part of that. And so we just really need speed of execution. We've got kind of like a year or less before things are really rocking,
Yep.
and there's a lot of work to do in the next year. And Tim is an amazing guy to really kind of drive the pace of change and development and just kind of tackle things heads on, and really just do a lot of the things that we've been talking about doing but haven't really found that drive to like just commit, make a decision. He's got a saying, the better is the enemy of the good. And sometimes we kind of get trapped in this analysis paralysis where we're trying
Mm.
to make something perfect. There is nothing perfect. If we've got something that's good, let's just run with it. And so that's really what's been happening. And yeah, there's honestly been so much that has happened in the past 60 days. It's unbelievable. So
You said something there that was key to me.
yeah.
Analysis paralysis is something that I preach against. It happens a lot. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
TA guy. Everyone knows
Yep.
that. I do technical analysis and I don't really care what it is, whether that's street lights,
Mm-hmm.
Presearch, taco trucks, it doesn't matter. We can search through all this stuff and via that data come up with a decision.
Yep.
But
Yep.
ultimately there comes a time where you say, "No, that's it. I see it. It's
Yep.
done. I'm going for it." And you don't
Yep.
sit there and twiddle your thumbs forever. So,
That's right.
on that note, I have a couple questions that people have asked. First,
Yeah.
I got a there's a competitor symbol at the bottom there. The reason I had to do this is because Zoom doesn't work so great on everything, so I
Okay.
had to I had to use this to be connectivity to get the connectivity that I wanted. Um, so it does it's more seamless this way if I do it this way, and there's less hesitation. But
Nice.
one of the questions that I heard was, will there be a mobile app or mobile user styles things in the U.S.? Because I don't think that's available yet. Maybe.
So there is an iOS app, and we've had an Android app, and maybe what it's been has been related to in Europe. There was a regulatory motion that basically forced Google to
Right.
include alternative search engines in the Android UI. And so with everything that's kind of happening right now, and there's a lot of regulatory pressure in the US that's building against Google. People are wondering, hey, is that going to happen here also? We really don't have any insights at this point, but it does seem like something might happen. And if that is the case, we're pretty well positioned, I would think, to get included. We just, as of a week or so ago, got included for the third time in Android as one of the default search engine options over in the EU, in 32 countries, which is pretty solid coverage. So certainly we'll be applying if anything like that happens in the US, and hopefully that's going to happen. But yeah, in the meantime, you basically have to go to like presearch.com/apps and then download it yourself.
Cool. So speaking on that, I got information today. Well, actually, it was probably about 2 weeks ago, but I saw it again today. That Google has an algorithm for 97% of people.
Uh,
I'm
mhm.
anti-algorithm when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Like I noticed that any different, for those who don't know it, YouTube is just Google. Um,
Yep.
they own it. So anytime I notice that YouTube starts forcing things in my throat, to go the opposite direction. So if I look up
Yep.
enough crypto stuff, because this is what I do for a living, the problem is it starts giving me all this crap that I don't want.
Yep.
And I don't want to see all these monsoon channels and all this other stuff, but it starts feeding them to me. So I
Yep.
purposely don't look at them, and I'll go look at something very boring like watching grass grow. I'll Google
Yep.
that, or I'll YouTube that just on
Yep.
purpose, just to make it stop. So
Yep.
how is that done differently with Presearch? I already know the answer to this, but I want to hear your explanation to it. How is that done a little differently?
Yeah, so with Presearch, we don't do that kind of profiling that goes on with Google and YouTube. It's it's not personalized. It is basically it can factor in if you choose to allow it, your location, your language. But aside from that, it's and with the location we have it generalized, so it's not how Google like one of the creepiest things, honestly, that I ever experienced was realizing that within my Google account, and I haven't used Google itself really as a search engine in many years, but still, had been a Google Maps user, and this was still going back a while, maybe 2019 or something. I realized, oh, there's this insane view of my Google location history where it literally shows where I was on every single day. And
At the
there
time,
was this
geolocated you,
tracking that was happening. You've seen it?
geotagged you for everything you're doing.
It's quite creepy, yeah. So I mean, the search engine kind of ties into that. Google's does. Presearch is a lot different in the way that it handles location. But if you choose to have your location be factored in, it can. But aside from that, it basically as you run a query, it anonymizes it, so it removes everything except that information that we are specifying, and then that's what goes out to the network of 70,000 Presearch nodes, and within those nodes and how they access information from various sources, there's no personalization, so there's no kind of filter bubble, there's no tracking, no profiling. We don't store user queries, and it's really kind of a pretty generic experience, and one that is replicable across different people versus, yeah, you go on Google and you search for something, you're going to get your own view of it, which maybe it's beneficial, but I always wondered, so let's say you're, this is like an example, but let's say you're like really overweight and you're trying to lose weight, right?
Nice.
And wouldn't it be nice if the results, you could actively personalize it to show like only healthy food or something like that in the search results? Okay, that would be like helpful personalization. But if Google has an incentive to monetize you, and they're doing that through this profiling, and they know that you are more apt to like click on McDonald's ads and other things that are garbage, and that ends up becoming the content that you see through that personalization, then is that really a good thing? And so yeah, maybe it's doing that resetting the grass grow thing. Maybe that's the way around it, or there's certainly things that you can disable, but even some of the things we've seen, when you disable tracking, it's still tracking. So
Right. So an interesting story for you. I'm, I don't know how many people where I'm from have been to China, but I've been. So I got super
mm,
lucky in the ability to go. I visited four
mm,
different cities. One thing I
mm,
noticed is most of them all had the same brand phone. I won't mention the brand of
mm,
that phone because it's
mm,
unimportant. More so,
mm,
what is important is when those people came here. When
mm,
they came here, they had tracking on their phone because that's the way
mm,
it's made. So
mm,
as we're walking past a restaurant,
mm,
the geolocation works. Their phone, through a particular app, actually turned on the camera to see where they were at one given moment. While they were taking a picture, it turned the camera on the other direction to look around them. It then used that
wow,
data to feed them ads, and I'm not joking, 10 seconds later. 10 seconds later, they had an ad
wow.
fed to them. And I thought, man, if that's not freaky, I don't know what is. So that speaks to the privacy aspect of all this, I think.
That's super creepy, man. And yeah, seeing, I mean, China seems to be a bit of a test bed for some of this kind of more dystopian technology and integration of things like social credit scores with digital IDs that then become the basis for everything that you do in life. And I think, yeah, it's pretty scary to see where some of that stuff's heading, and hopefully through people opting into alternative services, that doesn't come to pass elsewhere, and maybe eventually reverses in China.
I think a lot of this stuff is trends. Like, I mean, everything is a trend, but there's a big laziness trend right now. I mean, everything is fed to you, so you don't have to do anything.
Yep.
And that's getting so high on the trend, right? It's just so high, and we're being pounded with constant laziness. I feel like eventually that's got to pull back some. Just like any chart or anything in the world, you have so much of something, you're eventually going to get the yang to the yin. And I feel like
Yeah.
Presearch kind of helps to do that because it doesn't feed you the crap all the time and it's more personalized. So you're not always in the loop on every piece of trash that's put into the can.
Yeah, no, I think you're right, and it's something that hopefully that tide does turn, as you said, and we do see the shift. Yeah, right now it's just like this fire hose of whatever other people want, kind of being channeled into your brain, and there's almost this kind of like nihilistic feeling, I think, amongst a lot of people. COVID and some of that whole shift, I think, really impacted a lot of us. And combine that with now, yeah, just everything. And man, these quick hit video formats, the YouTube Reels and the TikToks and the Facebook Reels and all that stuff. It's like those things just being like streamed into your awareness without you really consciously choosing them are extremely powerful and definitely kind of scary. And I think that, yeah, just this trend to being a consumer is pretty harmful, and hopefully, yeah, we are going to see things shift, and definitely Presearch is looking to play a part in providing alternative ways of getting access to information, that it isn't so spoon fed, and it is more, your choice, where you're kind of where you're directing your attention.
Just do a
So
little work, not a
yeah.
lot, just a little. And then, like you said, all
Yep.
those short form videos, short form clicks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm aware of the servers they have because I still have some connections out there in the Far
Mm-hmm.
East.
Yep.
I'm aware there's about 6 city blocks full of servers that run these algorithms, which is, first of all,
That's wild.
amazing that they built that. Secondly,
Yep.
it's amazing that they dedicated that. That's just to grab you. That's it. Nothing
Mm-hmm.
else. Not the content. That's just to grab you. That says
Wow.
a lot. It's kind of scary. Other
Yep.
other than that, someone asked about the halvings of Presearch. If there'll be one soon, how's that going to go? Has there been any changes to the tokenomics? And when will the minimum for a node go up? I believe it's 4,000 Presearch tokens now. When will that change?
Yep, yeah. So it is 4,000. We don't have a kind of timeline in mind yet. There's a whole bunch of stuff that's happening, and it is happening on a little bit more of an accelerated basis, with Tim at the helm, and just again trying to really take advantage of the market opportunity. But we've made some changes just with node rewards. Right now, we've been largely focused on sustainability of the network and of the tokenomics, as well as monetization, and kind of bringing value into the ecosystem. The ultimate model is to have X value that comes in the form of ads, in the form of other type of tokenization, monetization, and then to apportion a percentage of that out to the node operators who are providing the infrastructure, the searcher who has chosen Presearch and is providing their attention and their kind of financial, economic value as they are making purchase decisions based on the information that they're experiencing through Presearch, as well as then all the other kind of facets throughout the project as we spin up different node roles and whatnot. But in the the interim, we've kind of been working off of Treasury, and we've been trying to, you know, find ways to incentivize people to take action and to participate and provide infrastructure as node operators, all those kinds of things. And so, you know, it's kind of in that transition period right now. And so the token right now, we don't have any like halvings planned. We've actually we have increased the total supply. We've had to just do a smart contract update in order to satisfy some requirements for some exchange listings that have presented themselves.
Nice.
And that's one of the things that's kind of always been a little bit lacking with Pre. Haven't really focused on that whole side of things as much as, you know, driving the utility within the ecosystem and whatnot. And so we kind of needed to like lock in a whole bunch of things and be really forward looking for the next while. And so there's been no change in the, you know, actual like circulating supply or anything like that of Pre. But when we started the project, we started with a billion tokens, and then kind of COVID hit and Bitcoin halving was happening in April of 2020. And so we decided to cut the total supply. And that was also a little bit in line with our initial white paper, which in that case, we plan to basically do a second crowd sale as we got to a community run foundation. And so what we decided to do was, you know, increase that potential total supply back to the original value as we're kind of executing that transition over to the foundation. And then again, needing to look out for the next kind of few years of growth for the project and ensuring that we do have that ability to kind of combine that value that's coming into the network and that we're working on with the tokenization and monetization, as well as, you know, whatever treasury is required to kind of bridge that gap as we get to that point. What we're trying to really accomplish is to be one of the first projects that actually has a regenerative token ecosystem. And because of the value of search, you know, if you look at Google and you know how much value is captured by that ecosystem, search is one of the most valuable spaces and opportunities on the web. And if we have, you know, if anybody has a chance of building a regenerative token ecosystem, a search engine does. It just kind of makes sense. And so but it has been a process, certainly, and trying to get to that point where it is truly regenerative is going to take, you know, some additional time, and we're really focused on that. Tim has been really driving us in that direction in particular, and made a lot of moves recently, just with some. You can see on kind of my background here, that's a homepage takeover, which is a new ad unit that we've rolled out recently. That one is sponsored by Bitcoin.com, but it's basically a way for people to hit that audience of Presearchers that sets Presearch as their homepage. And we've got a new version that's coming out where it's kind of integrated into the search results as well, which will increase the visibility. But we're trying to basically develop these ad units, these monetization mechanisms that don't really detract from the user experience, but, you know, capture value, bring it into the network. And again, trying to get to that ultimate model where it's a percentage based thing. So, hey, if, you know, Bitcoin.com pays us 2 cents for every view where somebody sees the homepage background, then we've got from those 2 cents, you know, 10% is going to operate the thing. You know, 20% is going to the node operators, you know, 20% is going to the searcher, that kind of thing. And then we've got a truly sustainable long-term model that can just grow and scale. So, you know, working towards that, it's definitely going to take a little bit to get to that point completely, but making a lot of great progress.
Sweet. That answers some questions I had, because I was curious if any of the tokenomics has changed. I'm not a humongous tokenomics guy. Once I know that it's not a scam, I'm pretty good on it. Because once I know, okay, these are real people and it's real business, I don't need to know a whole bunch more other than do you guys have, you know, access to just throw it down the gutter on everyone? Well, that's not the case here. That's why I've been around with this one for the beginning. I won't talk about scams. I won't even give them any press. It's cool to me, like, as you guys have noticed at the very beginning of this interview, he has no problem mentioning who these people are, what they do. if they don't say that beforehand and tell you openly, then you probably shouldn't be involved with it, everybody. I don't know how else to explain that to you. That's why I've constantly talked about Presearch. I don't shill any one thing.
Mhm.
I'm that way on purpose about this, but I do have nodes. I still
Mhm.
run them
That's
today.
awesome.
So I wanted to ask you, were there going to be any operational changes with the nodes? Is there anything that changes as far as the code? I made a video a couple years ago about how to set them up. Has anything changed from that?
It's more or less operating very much the same. Honestly, it's been super stable. We've been very impressed with the technical architecture, as well as just really the community support and the support from node operators. And thanks to you for continuing to operate nodes. And we've got a lot of people. I mean, we've kind of ramped them up to the 70,000, between 70 and 80,000 range of nodes, and we've been very consistent there. And there's a lot of people that we talk to that say, hey, yeah, I just kind of set it and forget it, and it's working, and it's if they go down, they reconnect, and it's actually quite a resilient network, which is very cool. Moving forward, there will be additional node roles that are going to be coming as we expand our own decentralized index. If you go on to presearch.io/roadmap, you can kind of see what we've got planned over the next few quarters on the dev front. But certainly, as we get more into crawling and indexing and some of those additional roles, especially as well on the AI front, probably since the last time we've spoken, that's been one of the biggest developments, to impact the entire tech space, as well in particular with Presearch, because AI and large language models are really great at determining user intent and providing a relevant and kind of concise summary of information. And there's a lot of value that can be captured from AI within a search ecosystem. And so we've basically been running to kind of ensure that we've got something that is offering value that people can utilize on the AI front as their expectations change and as they want to see AI summaries and whatnot. We've just been using to start kind of the OpenAI ChatGPT API, and again, giving people kind of an easier way to access that's anonymous. It's not something where you need to sign into it, and it's free of charge. If you have any tokens within the platform over 1,000, you get access to AI results. And but we do see a huge opportunity to decentralize AI and increase the privacy, and ultimately, like, as AI evolves and becomes more and more critical to everybody's kind of workflow and access to information, to have more of a community driven AI model that enables people to actually kind of actively participate in training these large language models and in understanding more how they work. And so there's a lot of progress that's being done, not really just within Presearch, but in the broader space from these AI developers. And there's a lot of open source models that are coming out that are actually becoming quite competitive with ChatGPT. And so as those become available, and then we can take those models and run them on, it'll be a different kind of requirement as far as the hardware goes, because it's certainly more intensive, but we'll have an AI node role that people can run one of these language models, and then as a query comes in, instead of us passing that to the OpenAI API, it'll be going again to one of the Presearch nodes. So lot of exciting stuff happening there. One of the interesting things, we've got a community member that actually just last week released, and I don't know if it's just on iOS. I think it might be. I don't know if it's on Android, but they released a new mobile app that enables you to manage your Presearch nodes just using the node API, which is really slick. It's quite usable and user friendly, and helps you kind of keep track of your stats and earnings and all that kind of stuff.
Very cool.
And so cool to see that kind of stuff happening for sure.
So you mentioned something interesting, which was the other AI models that are out there that you can talk to
Mhm.
and interact with. I'm not sure everyone's aware of this, but those aren't decentralized. They collect
No.
literally everything you say. It goes into a data bank, which then increases their data and gives you a better answer. So,
Does.
who do you think gets all that data and what do you think they do with it? All right.
Yep.
So they sell that data and they make money off of it. Presearch kind of does it differently. You get what you earn by people searching and using, which is really cool. So I'm hopeful that we see something toward that integration level like you're talking about come through. That'd be awesome.
Yep.
If people would move away from the big data collections and
Yes.
move into something like you just said, that would be amazing. Think about that. If you could even collect your own data and then use your own data to sell to the other competitors, my gosh, that
That's
would be
right.
awesome. Speaking of the data collection and the data usage, is there a server that you prefer people use to set their nodes up? Is there a server location that you think would be the best to do? Because there's a lot of fuss and argument about this, depending on the type of one you use or the place you use it. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of really great alternatives. I mean, I am a big fan of decentralization, and we've got people that are running them on their actual node devices, which is awesome. If you can get one of the pre-berries, the Raspberry
Mm-hmm.
Pi units, those are certainly very cool. But a lot of people are running them on virtual private servers that are all over the place. And even having them in just a whole kind of breadth of different networks, different data centers, different platforms is helpful. I don't know that there's really like a preferred one at this point. There's different price points and there's different kind of latency and everything. But we do have something that is new that we probably didn't have last time we spoke. If you go to network.presearch.com, you can check out kind of the overall network stats. So it gives you now the daily query volume, and we've done a lot of work there, kind of filtering out any of the crap and making sure that it's actual legit search query volume. But then it's got a map and it shows you kind of where the current number of nodes are or how many nodes in each geographic region are connected, as well as on the test net.
Yep, got it pulled
And
up now so everybody can see it.
cool, yeah. And so what's cool is you can see like as kind of the world turns and it's daytime in different areas, if it's Asia or Europe or North America, South America, you'll see that the number of nodes supporting each area actually changes. And so the network has been designed so that as that usage is happening in a different geographic area and it's connecting to one of these regional gateways that's basically handling that localized traffic, as the requirements for infrastructure change, as more queries start coming in, the network will automatically start to rejoin a different gateway and then provide the infrastructure that's required. So previously, we kind of had everything running out of North America, basically.
Okay.
And so there was like a preferred geography, and those nodes that were running in North American data centers were generally performing a little bit better from a latency standpoint and a performance standpoint. So there was some advantage. But now with the way that it's happening, it really is it's kind of in flux a little bit more as far as
More
where they're
diversified.
connecting to.
More
Yeah,
diversified.
that's right. More diversified, absolutely.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, I have
So
some in
yeah,
New
it's
York, I have some in LA, and I have some in
yeah,
Germany, I think,
cool, man. That's
which is
awesome.
awesome to
Yeah,
me. I
I
mean,
mean
it's awesome to me. So,
there's a lot of them that are in North America, and we've been seeing just kind of pockets starting to really get filled in different geographic areas, which has been awesome. But certainly what we're hoping to be able to do with that network.presearch.com page is really just build that out further and make it more valuable and enable people to do deeper dives into the data within the network as far as performance and help people really optimize things.
what's cool about all this? Number one, you guys are still around. If you have any
Yep.
idea how many quote unquote node things flaked and just fell
Right.
completely apart, right?
Yep.
We thought that might happen because all of crypto has cycles, and right now we're in a bit of a
Yep.
down sideways cycle, which will eventually change because people are asking about the price in the chat over there. I need you
Yep.
guys to understand it's trend based. It has nothing to do with what he's doing or what I'm doing. We're literally talking to you about data, AI, and everything else. Please don't think that it's just someone pushing a button that makes the price go up and down. That's not how it works. All right.
Mhm.
It's cool that you guys are still around. It's not going to make you a metric ton of money every 5 days. It's
Mhm.
that way on purpose, and I like that. It's more. It's not. I don't want to give like a buzzword away, but
Mhm.
it's more safe to do it this way because you know it's going to be around longer. Um,
Mhm.
Speaking on that, how long do you think it'll be before you hit 100,000 nodes? Or if you do hit 100,000 nodes, how far do you think it'll go based on your own projections in the next bull cycle, which I think will happen in between 24 and 25,
Yeah,
2024, 2025?
I think the timing makes sense. What we're really focused on now, so we've kind of got a lot of the sustainability stuff sorted out. Still, obviously, always room for improvement, but we've been making some key changes over the past couple of months, which is really important. And then we've been focused on kind of monetization and ensuring that there's value that is coming into the network, and that also is kind of focused around sustainability. And then what that provides us with is kind of this underlying framework of growth, and it's enabling us now to really shift our focus and go on to significant marketing and growth mode. And it's something that we've been wanting to do and trying to get towards over the past few years, but there's kind of been a lot of stuff outside of just the past 2 months and some of the changes that we've made, but it's kind of cumulatively put us to a point where it really makes sense to grow the traffic on the network. We've got something that we're rolling out this month as well, which is a search API, which enables other search engines to power their results with the Presearch node network. So we're not just growing kind of strictly internally as a destination site. We're also becoming more of a platform that can power other search engines and different applications. There's a whole range of things now with kind of the rise of all these different AI interfaces that people are using, and they all need access to search results. So kind of combining those things, driving traffic organically to a destination, plus now people are coming in through an API. What we are focused on doing is growing to 10 million searches a day, then 100 million searches a day, and right now we've kind of got a bit of an overcapacity with nodes. We could probably support a few x the traffic that we're getting currently.
Good problem to have.
But yeah, it's a good problem to have, and it's something, again, you kind of need like some element of resilience as well in case something happens and a portion of the network goes offline for some reason. We've got a good resilient network where even if it were cut in half, we would be okay to support the traffic. But so we're trying to kind of get to a point where the traffic levels reach and that equilibrium with the node capacity. And then as we kind of continue to grow the usage, then we need to also ensure that the infrastructure is growing as well. So won't be surprised if we see 100,000 nodes, by the end of 2024, and trying to really get to that 10 million queries per day and like good organic real user queries, whether they're coming through us or whether they're coming through partners who are using the API. It's kind of value into the ecosystem.
How long till the big dogs come knocking on the door and ask you to start using them?
I don't know, man. It's we've got a couple of smaller ones already that have we've got tentative integrations happening with as soon as the platform's ready to go, and then yeah, as soon as it gets bigger, we have seen some interest from people who have other crypto projects or other just AI apps, those types of things, looking at, hey, you've got all this node infrastructure. Is there some way that we can, embed our app within, the Presearch Docker image and have it now run on all these networks, and you guys kind of help get that distribution and then help in the management of rewards and all that kind of thing. So we haven't gone down that path, but it's definitely something that people are interested in, and there's maybe an opportunity there at some point.
Well, to show you a little bit about that opportunity, recently, like I'm here in South Carolina, so I have Spectrum Internet and Spectrum TV, right? Well, they recently had a big argument. It was actually Charter. But there's a big argument and fight with ESPN, which is actually Disney, over the rights to broadcast. It cut off right before college football started, right? Really made a lot of people here mad because college football is huge in the Southeast. It's a big argument. They went up back and forth for a while. Eventually, little by little, they had the agreement that they would kind of cross-platform a little bit, which is pretty cool. So the thought behind that is it'd be really cool if some cross-platform stuff happened rather than all just bashing each other's heads in for the same users. Well, what if they were cross-platform? I think that's a pretty cool thought.
Absolutely. Yep. Certainly, yeah. Collaboration and co-opetition, I think, makes a lot of sense, specifically in this space.
So 2 more questions. Number 1, someone said, what about AI nodes specifically for the AI portion? And if you could expound upon that a little bit, that'd be pretty cool. And from my question, really the only one I've got, is there a possibility that you guys just sell it all to the big dogs and walk away? Because I don't want to see that happen, but I know that happens a lot.
Yeah, no, I really don't see that happening. And the way that we've kind of, again, just restructured a bunch of stuff. So we've got a new operating company, but it's majority owned by the foundation. And so ultimately what we're looking to do is get actual governance in place, tokenized governance where the community can vote on important issues. So certainly the more day-to-day stuff and features and setting defaults and that kind of stuff would be an obvious application for kind of on-chain governance. But certainly in the longer term, having the ability for the community to vote on big decisions like that. And hey, maybe the community says, hey, Google's offering us $50 billion, and there's a way for all the community members to, and maybe that's something that they go, hey, yeah, you know what, we're gonna just spin up our own again after it, or whatever. But that I think is less likely. But yeah, I the thing to me with this transition has been having that foundation in place, and knowing that in the next, call it 12 to 24 months, going to that on-chain governance as we implement an actual Presearch blockchain, which we're planning to do using Cosmos, is going to enable a lot of that next level governance that is really going to continue Presearch to be that community driven search engine that it's started as and set out to be. So yeah, lots of exciting stuff there. And then yeah, AI roles. There is something on the roadmap. I think timing is kind of like running into next year as far as when that might happen. But it's there's certainly going to be like experiments earlier than, hey, maybe this is the end result. It might be that as a user you can choose, hey, do you want to have your AI powered by ChatGPT API, or do you want to use decentralized nodes? And those decentralized nodes are different specifications than the current nodes, which are really more set up for kind of light work versus the more intensive work that's required in running, like potentially a complete large language model, or potentially a segment of a large language model, and having that computational power required to process the query and generate those results. But there's a lot of value in AI. It's amazing. I mean, like to think that ChatGPT has so many actual paying members, people who are paying monthly in order to get access to those AI results, and how much time that AI interface can save people, I think, yeah, there's a pretty strong value proposition there. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. And we're working on, yeah, getting something together, and then certainly looking for community member input on, how we seize the opportunity for the community.
So if that were to happen and we started this system where you have an AI base node style system, for people who don't understand, you really only need one node talking back and forth to you to make that work. You don't need a large network. You're just chatting back and forth. It's not a system where I need to ping 15 different nodes to get a query, because really that's just a one-to-one thing. That's a different kind of platform. But nonetheless, I still think there's some value there, especially if it could be a situation where you pay in Presearch tokens to use this rather than paying dollars, which could be a whole nother segment of usability and use case.
Exactly, man. That's right. Keep it, so it's something that can be automated. You can sign on a smart contract. It can automatically, debit your wallet at the rate that you agree to. It could be used not just by users that are human. It could be used by automated systems. And that's kind of what we're setting up with like the Presearch API, which is, it's not AI results specifically. It's more, access to your traditional kind of search results, but it's all that same type of infrastructure and system where, you've got kind of a credit management system, and you've got the ability to hit an API endpoint to grab access to data, and then pay for that data, and then when you've got it, then you can repurpose it how you see fit. And definitely a huge opportunity on the AI front there.
Still ERC20?
It is for now, and kind of always there will be some ERC20 component just for interoperability and compatibility with exchanges and wallets and that kind of thing. But we are building a blockchain using Cosmos as kind of the underlying architecture. Yep. And so there is going to be just increasing integration of Web3 functionality within the Presearch ecosystem using our actual blockchain, which isn't going to have the limitations that we have right now with Ethereum, which is high cost and low throughput, which has forced us to kind of do a lot of the data storage in traditional databases. It's just too high a volume. If we've got a million, a couple million, a few million queries a day, and each query has like kind of multiple components to it. It's tracking a reward, it's tracking the reward out to the node operator, all those kinds of things. Like we're talking, at this point, we've got billions and billions of records. That being done on Ethereum is just not possible.
Yeah.
Cosmos, it looks like it is going to be possible to hit that type of scale, and to have our own kind of segmented network that maybe rolls up to Cosmos. But certainly is using a bridge to kind of bridge back and forth with the ERC20 token.
So one of the biggest complaints there about ERC in general is the gas fees. It might only cost $100 to run a node, but I pay $30 in ERC fees just to move it. In comparison to Cosmos, how much lower will the fees be? And as far as I need to move it around, I need to get it in, I need to buy it and sell it.
Like a fraction of a fraction of a fraction.
That's a big deal for people.
Huge difference. Yeah. Microtransactions are going to actually be possible with this blockchain.
Which will be great. People will love to see that. If I could just do one node at a time rather than having to move 10,000 or 20,000 tokens to make it worth it. You know what I mean?
That's right.
That was a big complaint last time during the bull run. I got, that's an ERC20 token. I was like, well, there's two problems. Number one, it may be an ERC20 token. It may cost you more. However, there's a large network to support it.
That's right.
So the trade-off, right? Now, I'll say this, Cosmos is still plenty big.
Yep.
All right, well, cool. Do you got anything else?
Just great to connect with you again, man, and your audience, and appreciate everybody's support and supporting the project as it, kind of chugs through the bear market and completes these transitions and changes and everything that we've been doing. And anybody who's interested can check it out at presearch.com or follow on, I guess now x.com/presearch news, Telegram t.me/presearch, discord.presearch.com. And yeah, lots of opportunity to become a searcher or a node operator, keyword staker.
Yep. So just to give everybody a real quick show of how this works, I've already got it pulled up here.
Yeah.
I'll go back one frame just so you can see it. This is the basic Presearch board. It's very simple. If I do a simple Presearch for one of the world's favorite coins,
there we go.
and I type this in, you'll see that someone staked the very first result. I wonder who did that. All right.
Smart
So
guy.
this is how it works, everyone. It's advertising for a small amount of crypto. It's really, really cool. You can advertise probably anything you want, but not everything you want. A large amount of stuff. So our YouTube channel is right there. Our Discord is right there. Our everything is there for a small price. You can do anything. Is the bidding still live? Like you could bid more and get that spot?
Yep.
Excellent. So that's perfect, because if someone wants to advertise for a big dog, they're going to have to bid that price up to get it, which is brilliant. If you don't get that, folks, it's advertising with crypto. It's genius. I hear a lot of talk about that from other companies. And, they're going to get this ad. Listen carefully, folks. They're already doing it. They've been doing it for years, and we've been a part of it. It works. Yeah. One more quick thing. What's your favorite whiskey?
Sorry, what's my favorite?
Whiskey.
Whiskey. Oh, I don't know.
Wrong answer.
Probably there's a Canadian club that's pretty popular up here in Canada, but Jack Daniels, I think, is probably
fair enough.
Legit one.
We'll have to get you seasoned, because we're seasoned whiskey drinkers over here. But other than that, thank you for coming, man. I really appreciate this. These are far and few between for me, and I like hanging out and talking to people who are more important than me, more important than I'll ever be. It's awesome. Thank you for your time, and if you need anything, give me a holler in the future. All right.
Awesome. Appreciate the opportunity, Keith, and good to connect with you, man. And you're important, and we're all important. So thanks for the opportunity.